Hello, 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 everybody. uh, I wish it didn't take three hellos to get that thing bumping. I wish it only did it in two. But then again, I wish a lot of things, right? Praise Jesus for another great afternoon. Hey, James, what's up? Shepherd's Voice, how you doing? And I don't know if you guys have any like examples of like there's some weird stuff going on. Just like it almost seems like in the just like the fabric of reality is so ridiculous that it just can't be real. I mean, it can't be real. I mean, if it really was, anything could happen, and there's billions of people, and you make your own future, and everything's unpredictable. Um, I do not see how life could be like this, man. It's like it's like weird, just weird stuff, man. And most of these stories out there are just not like they're not even believable, like. And not only are the stories in the world not believable, but I mean, even preachers, man, they're giving a lesson on the Bible, and they'll be saying something, and I'll be like, wow, man, that's not even in there. Like, that's not in the Bible, right? But nobody knows, right? Because I don't know if they know that it's not in there, or if they know that what the guy's saying is not right. Because I don't think they read it, or you know what I mean. And so it's a weird feeling, because you're like, am I the only one that knows that this what this person is saying is not quite right? Or maybe I see what how they got to that. I see how they got to that point, right? But because there's such a well respected or smart pastor, that it's like the ego gets in the way, right? And you're like, wow, man, like the only way, right, to truly get through this is to like literally be humble, like literally just be humble enough to say, I'm learning every day. Like I have more to learn than I do to teach. That's for sure. And even the stuff that's taken me my whole life, right? My whole life to learn, right? All the years of my life to get to this point, to barely find out how to save my own butt. I mean, is that crazy? Hey, Amanda. Hey, Hannah. Good to see you. All right, man. Yeah, it's just oh yeah, oh Amanda, I don't know if you were here. All the wrenches got reset. You didn't do nothing wrong or nothing. I just haven't seen you since all that. We had some I don't know, some other foolishness or whatever, and it just got reset. So I haven't figured out what to do yet with that. So I didn't want you to think something happened. But yeah, I mean, this world is weird, man. I mean, have you guys ever like listened to a pastor that's like real, like one that you would say is like, okay, well, this is a real smart guy, like and what he's saying is probably took him years to learn that. And then you're like, man, this is not right. This is not right. They'll say something that just ain't right. Oh, it says, heck yeah, Steven, you crazy. I know, man, I am crazy. No, but that's the sick part of it. Is it like there's a small group, right? I mean, I'm talking, we are like a very, very small group of people. I mean, think about this. How many truthers are there, like, that are even willing to, like, even willing to listen to the truth, let alone can handle any kind of, like, crazy theory, right? Like, it's a small group of people that are awake. We are the crazy ones, like in relation to the world, right? We are the crazy ones. And no, I know you're kidding, but I mean, but it doesn't. Isn't that how it feels? You know. Here, let me go ahead and drop the link for Oso. But it's like, but we're the crazy ones, you know, because it's like the it's like the oh man, I copied a Bible verse, so I need to do the link a different way. Um, no, it's like compared to the world, right? Our compared to the world, our you know, our view of things is you know, considered crazy. And I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna go to like if I end up in some nut ward or whatever, I'm not gonna pretend like things are real that aren't real just so I could get out of there. I'm not doing it anymore, man. You know? What's up, Sasquatch? And so like, you know, we're at a crossroads, right? Like think about this, right? Like I mean, what if they did you know, pick one of us up, right? And bring us into the nut ward and they're like, "Oh yeah, okay, so just tell everybody how you're on a flying ball and that the news is real and you know it's nobody's getting censored on YouTube. That's crazy, you know. I mean, all these different you know, oh, you're just being paranoid, man. Nobody's looking at you through the cameras and all that, but they are, man. There is technology are shooting beams into your house now. You like you would think are crazy narratives, right? People are shooting beams into my house. They're making me think stuff. Like I would hear people say stuff like that and think they were nuts, man, just completely nuts. But now it's not only that, right? That I believe is real now, but their story is breaking down to where it's not believable to hide it anymore. It's crazy the amount of stuff that's out there. Hey, so welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. Cindy
Yeah.
says Cindy says they're cranking up the 5G.
Yeah.
Out there, they're just getting those boxes humming right there, right around my
Crank,
house. Is that terrifying? That's terrifying to think about.
cranking out something. I don't know. I keep hearing that Morse code every night when I go to sleep. Beep, beep, beep.
Me too. I
Uh,
thought that was just like I thought that was just like auditory hallucinations.
no,
Like
I
you
don't
hear like
know.
do you hear like vibrating in your head and like
Uh-huh.
oh, see, then that's real then.
Yeah.
And I do hear beeps, you know, because I was like, man, I hear a beeping, right? Um, you know, I can't get anyone to come in here and look for it, and I can't find it, you know, and it's bothering me. But like little beeps and stuff like that, little beep, 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 it
Yeah.
bothers me.
Yeah. It bothers me too. I'm like, Lord, please just stop that from happening because it's
I know
driving
how
me insane.
I know how Shepard's saying she goes. It went the chart went from 7 to 2, but I've been noticing this lately, right? It goes 7 to 2 like that, the numbers, right? And then there'll still be like six people, you know, typing in the box. So you can never go by that. Like I never
Huh.
even go by the numbers anymore. We had zero in here for a long. Remember that one day? That one day we had zero in here for over an hour.
Yeah, that's right. Now one's watching. Okay, really?
Yeah, I mean that can't be true because you and me are
No.
both in here.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so insane.
Bizarre. Yeah, well, I mean, they just YT
I know it.
cannot stand Christians, cannot stand the truth. And
Yeah,
so they've got to mess with them, you know, mess with the channels and mess with the likes, mess with everything
yeah.
just to, annoy us. And, but I mean,
It's weird. I mean, like some stuff like with the likes and all that. I never understood what that like what it does. So I never. I never really looked at that ever. I mean, I knew
Mhm.
that there was a time where I got a lot of down votes.
Oh,
I knew that it was an extraordinary amount of down votes.
yeah.
Um, but
That's
but I never.
trolly.
Right. Because well,
Yeah.
like we were talking about flat Earth and
Oh.
Jesus, so you're gonna get that kind of stuff, right? It's
Mhm.
a lot of it turns off a lot of people, but
Mhm.
I never understood the likes part of it, so I don't really. I mean, it's great that people do that, but I don't ever look at that. And the
Mhm.
only thing that I look at is like the traffic, right? The numbers, right? Because it's the only way to gauge how tight the truth is getting. If the
Mhm.
truth is getting real tight, it'll go lower and smaller, and then when it starts getting more drama and more craziness, it'll get bigger. But
Mhm.
the interesting part that I care about is when the truth is getting tighter and and if it grows, then that's an odd occurrence.
Mhm.
And that's what's
Yeah,
been
I don't
happening these
even
last that's what's been happening in these last 4 or 5 shows,
hmm.
have been more so than I'm excited about it. I'm
Yeah.
excited about the fact that we're getting a lot more traffic in here, right? And that there's more people talking about like the borderline like the 50-50 issues that do cause dissension, right?
Mhm.
Without fighting. Like, I mean, people get still heated up, right, and passionate, right? But it used to be when we had a talk like that in here that it would get down to where it would cause fights.
Well, some things are very divisive and
Mm-hmm.
some topics are it's hard because I mean the word we should always go back to the word with everything
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
just there's a lot of people a lot of false doctrine out there and there's a lot of people who have learned a certain way and so it's hard to when you get this idea if you're not teachable if you when you get this idea in your head it can cause you to become just like hang on to that and not even consider. I don't know, there's some things like I've said before, there's some things that I'm completely solid on, but when I don't know, I'm I consider, other people what other people say and, I just listen to what God where he leads me on that. So, if there's something like this I don't know what it is, this pre-tourist or something like that, like
Oh,
the
preterists.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like all that's already happened. Well, God didn't even lead me on that because somebody said something about it and if I'm sure that if God leads me on that, then I just trust him. I trust that he's going to lead me into the truth, lead me in all truth. And that's what I pray for. I pray that he leads me in all truth.
Yeah.
And so I'm not worried about
Well, I liked
much.
the idea, right, of see, but there's a lot of camps for preterism too. A lot of different there's always different variations of everything.
Mhm.
And so the idea of like that we're at the after the 1,000-year reign, and that that's already happened, and we're waiting for then we would be waiting for Satan to deceive the nations one more time, and then for God to come back, right? Which really isn't much different than what we have going on right now, like to prepare for, except
Mhm.
for that there's more prophecy to be answered now, like Mark of the Beast and Man of Sin, right? Rapture, if it happens or not, right? These things,
Mhm.
right, would be signs from before the millennial reign. Yeah, I've never seen it where it was like, okay, well, God came and left, and you're on your own. Like I never heard it that way. I've always heard it as in you're either on one end or the other end of this 1,000-year reign. Now, in order for me to really buy into that, there's a lot of things to be reconciled that like physically would have to happen. Like Mount Olives would have to split in two, right? That's a
Mhm.
physical thing that has to happen, right?
Mhm.
If Jesus came back already, or the sun wouldn't be in the sky, right? Like unless it went back up into the sky, because Jesus is the sun when he's here. So there's all these different things, right? That would need to be reconciled first. I mean, I thought it was interesting when I first heard it, because I'm like, oh man, that's like flat Earth all over again. That's a huge deception, because then there is no prophecy to, there is no mark of the beast to look out for. There is none of this other. You know what I mean? Like,
But there
it,
is.
right. Like,
Yeah.
because we're before right. I agree with
Right.
you. But in the
Yeah.
preterist view, that's all done. That's over.
Yeah. I don't
You
know
see
about
what
that. I mean, um,
that's what I'm telling you.
yeah, I've never seen anybody walking around. Well, wait a minute, with grievous sores. I was like, wait a
Well,
minute.
no, they would
Yes,
be
I have.
gone. Like that. That's the whole thing, right? They would be gone. Those people would be gone and already done. So like,
Okay.
so then you'd have your people that were saved, right? They go through the 1,000 years, right? And
Mhm.
then those people are gone with Jesus, gone, and then you're on the other side of the 1,000 years, where Satan is loosed for a little season to deceive
Uh,
the nations one more time.
yeah,
So
I don't
it would
know.
be the exact same as like before, right? Except we wouldn't have like the mark of the beast, man of sin, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
like I said, there's a lot of physical stuff that has to be like you would have to show me, like, well, where is this mountain that's split in half, right? And if you're
Mhm.
going to tell me that, like, Israel is some other place, right, and that there is a Mount Hermon that's split in half, right, or
Mhm.
Mount Olives that's split in half, right, well then you're going to have to show me where all these like rivers and lakes and cities that all line up, right? Because Jesus was here walking the earth, and he went to all these places. These are physical places that he went so many miles from this river and so many miles from that city, and it has to line up perfect, you know?
Mhm.
And so the likelihood of it being true is not very likely at all.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I see people wanting to, like, I don't know, dig in. I don't know if you like rabbit holes. I don't. I like truth and I don't mind rabbit holes, but I don't like the rabbit hole itself, you know?
No. No. Every rabbit hole that I've been down has just led to uh it's led to something demonic, some I don't know, like lies
Hmm.
and deceit and stuff. I did see where by the way, the China sky was red. Yeah, I did see that. I'm thinking that's Project Bluebeam or something. I don't know.
It's weird, man. Like I wonder. This is what I wonder about this Project Bluebeam, right? Because I know that they got all this stuff, right, where they can, I mean, they could probably make things look amazing in the sky, right,
Mhm.
and probably indistinguishable. But like I'm thinking, like, do they like maybe overplay that card, as far as like this is they we have all this technology that can, make it look like, alien invasion or this or that, this type of sign or symbol. But in reality, right, these are like just the signs and the seasons of the sky, right, that were just put there for us, right? Like all these different, blood moons, and like the Revelation 12 sign in 2017, like things like that, right? Like, what if all these like colors and constellations, do mean more in this end times? That's the stuff that I wish I knew, because if we knew that from the very beginning, because everything here is specifically made for us, and so
Mhm.
it's like a little calendar up there, and I think it'd be neat to know how it works.
Yeah, I'm not too like I used to be into astrology and astronomy. So I don't even like I just kind of like I don't even care about that stuff on in the sky, Basically, I'm just like all I can tell is by my feelings right now is that God is definitely doing something where he is just like really working on me, really working on leading me and guiding me and just showing me where to focus, showing me where to put my attention, where to take it out of, um, pulling more of the world out of me, just making sure that I am eye to eye with him right now. And so it's been really awesome. And I just feel like it's really speeding up. And it feels like, yes, I think you're right. It's very soon that something is going to happen here. Um, but
it almost feels like reality itself is just like, it can barely hold itself together. All these days are going by so fast,
mhm.
like think of how fast this last week has gone by.
Yeah, it's speeding up, just like it said it would. It said it would in the Bible, and that's another
Mhm.
thing that I go by is just what the Bible says. And the Bible said that
Mhm.
time would speed up. The days would shorten.
Yeah, that travel would increase and
Yeah,
knowledge would increase,
right. We
and that
have
there would be a
everything that we
famine.
need. We don't even have to look to the sky because we have everything that we need right here in the Bible that tells us what to look for, tells us the signs, the seasons. So we can go by what the word says and about what he's doing in our lives, and just um just trusting in him.
That's one thing that Stephanie was saying this morning. That we were talking the other day about, how did she say it on her channel yesterday? Was like, oh, stay fruity. We got to be fruity, right? So our spiritual fruit, and then you and Jake were saying weedier and terrier. People are getting weedy,
Yeah, that's
and I'm like, we
right.
need to get more fruitier and weedier. That's what we got to do.
That's so funny.
But that's like the truth, right? All these
Fruitier,
things.
weedier, and fruitier. That's what we want
Yeah,
to be doing. Not
but
getting
that's it, right?
terrier. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. We like just to get our spiritual fruit, right? Like our and even like these like phrases that I guess you could say is corny. I still think is relevant. Like things like I don't know if you remember those keychains and stuff. Like what would Jesus do and all that. I think that's like a good barometer for like, okay, well, what would Jesus do? Am I showing good fruit, good spiritual fruit right now? Like, am I staying fruity? You know,
Am I steam fruity? I love it.
I
I love
don't,
it.
I don't know. I'm getting used to how to say it, but I think that those are good terms. Like, because of just how relevant they are at the last days of just in such a negative context, they put those like phrases like that, and so they have to mean something to God for the devil to want to pervert it like that.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I just I want to, you're just making me think about when you say fruitier.
Yeah.
You just make me think about Jeremiah 17:7, and that whole blessed be the man who trusteth in the Lord and whose hope the Lord is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. It's by trusting in the Lord and just keeping your eye on him, keeping your eye out of the world. He's really leading me to stop looking at just I really used to have all these channels that I just was watching all the time and that I loved, and he's really taken me. It's not of my own, it's not something that I turned away from on by myself, but he just doesn't have me watching YouTube anymore. It's so bizarre. I used to be doing it all the time, really into it. But I just have not even been he kind of took that interest out of me.
I think
It's
I get what you're saying because I
oh
think
so
I'm going
fruity.
through.
I'm sorry.
No, I get. Oh, yeah, no, that's so funny. No, but I think I get what you're saying because like when these crazy things out there, this crazy stuff in the world was happening, and when it provided confirmation for you know for like, oh man, this makes the Bible more true or gives it more validity, or this is something that's in the Bible that was going to happen, right? Then it's exciting to like get involved with all these little whatever weirdness out there is, right? But without that, right, we're already past that point where we've gotten all this confirmation, right? To get involved with another, fake event or another thing or another bit of drama, right? That's starting to like really lose its appeal, right? And
Yeah.
like the only things now, and just barely even this, but like the only things that really like get me like excited to learn outside of the Bible is like maybe history that like maybe was taught to us a different way, that like, oh, that's how they did that, or this was probably after the flood or before the flood, or things like that. But
Mhm.
even that, like the mainstream noise is just, I mean, that's just chaos, that's just horrific now. I
Yeah,
don't
like
know how to use it.
like that red sky thing. It's like I somebody the only reason I saw it is because a
I
friend of
think that's
mine.
interesting though. You don't think that like the signs of the heavens is interesting? Like,
I don't I that's not something that really
mm,
I God is not leading me to be interested in that anymore. It's really bizarre. Like usually I would have been all over that. But now I just feel like he wants me to keep my eyes single, and that means just completely devoted to him, to just devoting my time straight to him. I don't know what it is. I mean, that I was telling Miss Maskless that I just he's really, really doing a work in me where uh, he's just directing me and pulling me out of the worldly things, just completely, even looking into these things, even um,
mm,
I don't know. I mean, he hasn't even led me to do a video lately. He hasn't. He's just really had me in the word more, praying more, and
yeah,
really focusing on my relationship with him. And I love it. I'm so glad. I mean, it's very rewarding to only focus on him because you feel yourself um, growing really fast when he does that to you. When you're in the word, when you're just in prayer at all times, ever never ceasing with prayer. Like I was thinking about it today and I was like, wow, this is, he does say pray without ceasing. And it's funny because it's
yeah,
not
without
like,
ceasing. Yeah,
yeah, and it's not like I choose to pray without ceasing. It's like
just happening.
it's automatic. I'm
Yeah,
constantly praying without ceasing. All when I'm driving down the road, when I'm in the grocery store, when I'm every uh, it's without ceasing. When I'm either praying or I'm singing praise songs to him in my
yeah,
mind lately. This is what is going on. It's not me. This is not what, you know, uh, how I used to be at all. It's not how I naturally, I don't know. Because this is all him. He's doing this work where he's, first of all, it's just, part of it is rejoicing in trials. I understood that I was not rejoicing in trials. And it was something that he showed me that I wasn't rejoicing in trials and that I needed to. And praise God, because that gives him glory when you can rejoice through a trial. So he's just showing me how to do it. And how we do that is by keeping our eye focused on him. And during last days and times when things are so chaotic and just getting bizarre, like we were talking about, Stephen, so bizarre and trippy and almost uncomfortable, and could be scary if we really if we didn't, if we weren't born again, they would be really scary. And so when the reason why he wants us to grow in our faith, in our trust in him, is because that's men's hearts are going to fail for what they see coming upon the earth. And these trees that aren't planted and rooted in in his living water, they are going to go through a drought, and they are going to feel the effects of the drought. They are going to, we could say literal, spiritual drought as well. They're not going to be able to take and produce fruit when this river, they're not going to be by the living water, the river of life that flows. These other people, like tares, are not going to have that. And so what we want to do is just be by that living water that he gives, that he pours out, and just sucking that up, really getting into his word, his truth, in a relationship with him. And then we can be like that tree in Jeremiah 17, and just have these fruits that we're producing, even when times are getting freaky and uncomfortable.
Especially now, right? Like especially now, because this is a good chance for and it's funny how I'm thinking how like just how like they describe how wheat grows, and how you can tell it from a tares, because the fruit will make it way down, and then the tares will still be standing straight up, so it's easy to harvest at the end. Like, and so like having fruit at this time, right, is meaningful, because one, there's going to be people that are going to be scared, that are going to want to know, wow, how are they so comfortable and peaceful during this, right? Like, how are they doing it? Like, to bring some kind of attraction to, like, them wanting to know God, right? And then also, just how that works just in a regular harvest, right? This is the time to start bearing fruit, right? To be fruitier and weedier, right?
Exactly, Stephen. And like you said, people will, when you think about it, in a drought, everybody is thirsty, and so you're going to be able to share your fruit. You're going to be able to, people will see that you're different, and they will want to, they'll want some of that fruit, and you can share it. I mean, just the fruit is the joy, the love, the peace, the understanding, the gentleness, the kindness, the patience, and just being able to be like that, and people will be attracted to that. I mean, of course, there's going to be persecution. We all know that there is going to be that, but
some people will hate us for it.
Some people will hate us for it. But other people, the lost sheep, are going to see that fruit, and they're going to flock to it. I think.
Yeah.
They're going to want that. And so praise God, because he's the one that feeds us and gives us that living water.
I feel like it's very, very soon. Like, I know that, like, just kind of like, I've been saying that for a while, because I've been wanting it to happen for a while. But like, I'm almost at the point now where, now that it's here, I'm like, okay, wait a second. This has to be it, right? Like, I don't want to talk myself out of it, because I've just been saying it for the last 2 years. But it's like, now it's starting to get so close that it's like, I'm starting to doubt what I already knew, right? And I'm like, no, don't go into denial, because I don't know what it is. Is it like, does your brain try try to like protect you from being scared somehow, or because I want it to be tomorrow. Like I want it to
I
be
think we all do.
you know, or today, right? You
Mhm.
know, and but the only thing I could think of, right, like and this used to bug me, right? I used to go, well, the only thing that would want me to have that time be longer is for more people to make it, you know. But
Mhm.
then when somebody explained it to me, that like, well, um, everyone that's supposed to make it is going to make it, you know, and so I'm comfortable with
Yes.
that. So I just want him to get back here and for all the pain to stop for people that, there's people in pain out there that I can't do anything about that, you know,
Mhm.
and we need him. That's the only way to beat that,
Mhm.
you
Well,
know.
his timing is absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of people that I know who, if I have to, be here and go through everything, that it'll be worth it. Whenever I get to heaven, I just I want to see the people that I have been praying for there.
I can't wait.
And a lot of them are God haters right now. And
Yeah.
so it's really sad to me, but I I do trust God, but I have been fervently praying for them. And so I'm willing, I want to, I'm willing. Um I'm happy to stay here as long as until God comes, and so that I want that last lost sheep to come in. I
Yeah.
want that last of the Gentiles to come in, because there's so many that I'm praying for right now that are um, they hate God. They hate me. They hate God.
Well,
But
sometimes I wonder, like with some people I know that um they probably would never, admit it or accept it in front of me that God is real, but I think they know. And it's just this final act of rebellion to fight it, to be in denial about it, and to want that control over, to feel like you have some control over your future or whatever. I mean, I don't know how anybody is deluded anymore to ever think that they have any control over what happens to them, right? But I used to feel like that, like, oh yeah, if I do this and that, then that'll happen, and I'll be squared away to a week from now, right? When
mhm,
in reality, like, so many things have to go right just for me to make it to next week, you know.
mhm.
And when we're I don't know if we're delusional about that, or we're stuck in a deception of just how much has to go right for us to make it, until we're saved, and then we start thinking about things like, wow, look at all this stuff I have to be grateful for that I would not have without God. Like
Mhm.
to even think that I could do anything on my own, right? It's
Well,
so delusional and such a deception,
that's
right?
the pride. Pride.
Yeah.
It's like, I
Mhm.
did this. I can do this. I I did all this. Everything that you see, I did it. And that's the pride that blinds people from seeking Jesus, because they think that they can do it on their own. And that's why the prideful aren't going to see heaven. They're just not. They're not going to, because he gives grace to the humble, not the proud. So I feel really bad for a lot of people that I know um, that are trusting on the system, trusting on in the stock market, trusting in
Yeah.
what
I mean, how
they
could you not
saved up.
know that that's rigged? Like, I used to think that that was like something that you could, like, learn about, and like, like predict the trends, and be real smart, but it's so rigged. Everything's rigged. There's nothing that's organically happening. Like
Mm-mm,
there is nothing with billions of dollars on the line that's just up for chance. Like
mm-mm.
it's how could I ever be so naive and to
It's
think that?
all. I was reading Ecclesiastes this morning, and it's all vanity of vanities. Just all the running around and just, not even focusing on God, just running around to and fro on the earth and you know, thinking that what you're doing is something. It's nothing. It's nothing because, I was reading that it said, somebody who's gonna come into my shoes when I leave this earth, is it gonna, is it going to be a fool? You never know. Like
Mm.
it's all this, everything that we do here is all foolish if it's not centered, God centered. It's all foolishness. So
It is.
investing, going and getting your Freemasonic education, um,
I mean, think
whatever it
about this.
is.
Think about this. The idea that you have that people, right? I won't say you. The idea that people have to pay a quarter million, $500,000, right? For someone to explain a couple books to you in college, right?
To explain what a
Like,
woman is.
yeah. No, 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 no. Think of no. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, right? Like colleges,
Mhm.
right, where they're
Yeah.
like we live in a society where number one, right, it should be free for for someone to pass down knowledge to somebody else, right?
Mhm.
Like, hey, let me teach you about this. Let me show you how this works, right?
Mhm.
Number two, they're charging for it, right? And
Mhm.
number three, it's not none of it's real, right?
Mhm.
And so there's so many levels of like how could I mean I don't know how there was ever a time where I bought into it, right? I'm like, oh yeah, that seems fair, Princeton and Harvard, if you got the money, you learn about these books, they explain them to you, and then you get a great job.
Mhm.
I had no. Why did I think that that's what equaled that? Like, why did I
Yeah, I
think
did
that?
too.
Like,
We all did.
like what did a person gain going there? That
Mhm.
it's I mean it's unfathomable, not just like what the world is, right, but like how I ever thought that it wasn't rigged,
I
like
know.
like
Mhm.
or that power was something that oh yeah, well I'm president now, and then 4 years later you guys get to be in charge. No, these people have been in charge for forever. It's
Mhm.
the same people over and over and over again. They're not going to be like, okay, it's your turn to be in charge.
Yeah, I
Like,
know,
why did
right?
I believe that? Like, why did I ever believe that that's true?
Well, we all did because it was a deception where we were all under a spell, and it's
How
the
did you do
revelation
it?
right now. God is revealing to us what's really going on.
That's
So,
insane. I remember standing there basic training, right? And graduating basic training. I was a young man, crying, like a little baby, singing the national anthem, right?
mhm.
Thinking that that's real, that was
Yeah,
real,
yeah,
you know?
mhm,
That's the sad part of it,
mhm. But
is
we
that
don't anymore.
we don't, man. We don't.
Mm-mm.
It's not
Yeah.
real. None of it was real. And like not only is it not real, but what real parts there was, about it were created specifically for God's people to make it here.
Mhm.
So there is nothing absent from, there's nothing apart from God ever.
Mhm.
And um, even if you buy into this reality as being real, um, it's still for God.
Mhm.
There is no atheist. Like that's a complete delusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Nobody pops here out of nowhere.
right. I like
That's
what Miss
crazy to think
Maskless
that.
said, the Bible, that there's Bible colleges too that pay for knowledge of the Lord. That's
I know. Is
hilarious.
that crazy? That's
Yes.
crazy. I gotta
Yes,
pay
it
you to
is.
explain it to me. Oh my god.
Right? I know. It's really
It's
sad.
offensive, right? Is that not
Mhm.
offensive?
Yeah. Mhm.
And then they, of course, they give you their spin or their, if you teach it this way, we'll give you this many dollars.
Right. And it's all Freemasons, taken over by Freemasons, and um they give false doctrine, and then those people who have gone to these Bible colleges become stubborn and no, I know it because I went to school, And
Yeah.
this is the way I learned it. And that's what I was talking about before. It's just like they're not teachable. They would say they are because they went to school, but they're not, because they're not learning from God. They're learning from these false teachers. It's really
Well, I'll tell
sad. And
you
they pay
what, I
tons
mean,
of money for it.
it's like there's all this controlled opposition everywhere, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the devil wants both sides of the fight. And
Yeah.
that's hard to accept too sometimes. Is you like, I know the world gives us these images that, you know, a church should be safe for us, or that somebody holding a Bible will have our best interest in mind, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even true. That's not, I mean, it's very confusing out there. I mean, if this isn't the end times, then I feel really bad for the people that got to live in the end times. Because
Well,
this
it is
can
the
be
end
really
times. I
messed
mean,
up.
we can just tell the times are the season. We can tell. Just
I don't have any doubt.
and also what's going on out there, to the children. That's the most insane thing, that they are so targeted right now. It's just
What's going on, Michael? Are you okay, man?
horrible to even think about.
Yeah, all the things that are going on out there for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sure, I want to make sure Michael's all right. He wanted to go through
Yeah.
Hebrews chapter 10 and Hebrews chapter 6. And I do want to like dedicate some time to that at some point. I don't know, if maybe going
Oh,
over tomorrow or something like that, but
yeah. Yeah.
I think it'd be
Um,
cool.
yeah, John 3:16 is truth. It's absolute truth. Jesus came for everyone.
Oh,
Everyone. Whosoever. That means anyone. So
yeah,
it's not just for some people, it's for everyone.
yeah.
But
All
yeah,
righty.
is it
Well,
time?
it's time to hit the old dusty trail. And so thank you also for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It was a good
Thank you,
conversation.
everybody.
We had a good mix of stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Praise God.
it's a good Tuesday, right? Yeah, praise God. I mean, that's our hope, man. That's everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm excited. Oh, Mark, what's up? This is my good friend Mark. I've known Mark like probably almost 5 years now. It's my good buddy Mark. I'm always happy to see him. Makes me happy. All
You
righty,
got all kinds of
guys.
people that pop in every once in a while and say hi.
Well, I just, I mean, there are, yeah. I mean,
Mm-hmm. It's cool.
it's a tight little community, right? Where like a lot of us have like probably worn out all of our relatives and friends that we used to have with all this truth, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that somehow chases off the people that you care about,
Mm-hmm.
when you're just trying to tell them, how it is.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
And,
You listen more than you type. Okay. I gotcha.
yeah. And so like you
Mm-hmm.
meet people over the years that you just relate to, It's like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you talk to somebody and you're like, wow, that's a carbon copy of me. Like that's exactly like what that person is saying is exactly what's happening to me. It's weird.
Hmm.
Have you ever seen that? Where someone's telling
Uh,
you your story, you're like, what? That happened to me. I had problems like that too. And I had issues like
yeah.
that too. And that's what happened to me. And I never felt right either, or
Mm-hmm.
like something was off or
I
and
I
then,
I did, but it was from a different kind of person. It was kind of a person that was trying to play like they had trying to play like they were like that, but they weren't really. They were not. They had nefarious intentions. So, I mean, that's just
yeah.
what has happened to me in the past. I'm like, oh,
Well, that's the thing that made me the most sad about life, right? Is that um like people are always trying to trick people and lie to people and like
hmm
they take advantage of you if you if it's like you got to be on guard all the time, you know, instead of just being able to show somebody love and leave maybe your guard down a little bit and feel safe, right? But you can't. It's like this like either you become like paranoid in some way, right? Or you find God, and that's the only way you can get comfortable is to know that, okay, well, somehow I'm different, you know, and I gotta figure this out and figure out why the world is, you know, for some reason it seems weird, like they're evil or out to get me or or out to get good people, and you're like, what? Why is there so much unfairness, right? And it doesn't. Nothing
That
makes sense. So you
that's
start, you know, so you start reading the Bible.
that's why that's one of the reasons why why I ran to Christ, because um I just felt like it was too dangerous of a world for me to be without Jesus. There was a few things that made me run to him. Many, actually. Um, one was fear of the world and fear of dying, not being born again. That was a fear. There was many fears that I made me just run to Jesus, and fear of this disease that I have, fear of not being believed. There were a lot of fear. I was in constant fear, and I didn't want to be like that anymore. I wanted Jesus. I wanted his protection. I wanted his help. And so
Yeah.
that's because it's a scary world. I don't know how people do it without Jesus.
I have no idea. I have
Mhm.
no idea because I even at one point tried to completely let go of just all things good in my life, you know, to
Mhm.
think, well, maybe if I have nothing to lose, you know, then life will finally feel free. I even went that route,
Mm.
you know. That's a scary
Mhm.
road to go down, right? I'm gonna go down
Mhm.
where I have no possessions, no house, no nothing, and nothing to live for, you know,
Mhm.
thinking
Yeah.
that that would make me somehow feel better.
I know
That's
I
crazy,
know
right?
somebody who did that. Yeah, it was I watched it happen, and I was like, "Whoa, this is not good. He's going to regret this later." And yeah, I don't know where he is anymore. But
Mm.
yeah, it was horrible to watch.
Well,
And just feeling like everybody was coming at him, and rather than running to Jesus and seeking
yeah,
Jesus, he just did it that exact way that you're talking about,
yeah,
and lost his house, his everything that he's ever owned. He just walked away from it, but it was only to have nobody come at him anymore. It wasn't because he was harassed. He was being targeted.
yeah,
And so, but it had nothing to do with Jesus. Like, it's okay if you sell all your stuff and want to be just a disciple walking around spreading seeds, that's fine if it's for Jesus. If you want to run to Jesus, but if you're just doing it so that you won't be targeted anymore, it's not going to work. And in fact, it didn't.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that was I think the biggest benefit that I could say that that really saved like made my life worth living at least, right? Was that you know, I had my kids and that's what was barely letting me hang on, right? But when when I started to understand more about God and to know that that I had a purpose, right? That I was created for a reason, and I have a function, a job to do. I have a function, you know,
mhm,
and so my job is to you know be here for you know to please God, right? Um,
mhm,
and so to know that, right? Just to know that even before I was even able to know how to do that, right? Um, it felt good that I fit somewhere. Finally, there's a spot where I belong to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how it would feel to start doing it, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
just was so relieved that, like, wow, then this is probably my group, right? Now, of
Mm-hmm.
course, it's discouraging at first when you run into, like, you know, churches that are corrupt and people that really use God as a weapon or use God as a way to, you know, manipulate people for money, all this kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's discouraging. I wish that didn't exist, right? I wish no one was allowed to lie about God, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh, they're
uh,
gonna be in such big trouble. Oh,
I mean, I mean, yeah, I mean, I can't think of, because this is your way out. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just, I wish that that's the only part about the world, right? That, I mean, a lot of it baffles me, though. I can't say that. A lot of it baffles me, but it's like, um, you know, that was that part, the corruption on that part was hard, you know, to understand. But
mm-hmm.
then, like, to really find a group of people that were like, wow, so I get it, right? It's not that anybody's any better than anybody, right? It's just there's people that want to do what they were made to do and are accepting that reality, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The truth all the way down to the bare bones, right? I was made by God and this is what he wants from me.
Mm-hmm.
And am I willing to do that? Yes or no? You know? It's
Mm-hmm.
simple, right? But like there's all these things in the way, right? That you think are other options that are not true. There never was any other options. It's like you buy into the lie or you buy into the truth. That's it. And
Mm-hmm.
so
But when you like the new age deception is it seems
all
like
loud.
the truth, you know. It
Seems
it
like it.
it seems like it seems I was buying it for a while.
Yeah. I know a lot of
And
people they were starting to go to, even me, I was like, oh, some of this is looking kind of good, you know. I like
yeah,
I want some power too, you know. It
right.
seems like I mean, you know, they're saying the right things, I think.
Uh-huh.
You know, I didn't know, like, right?
Yeah.
How are we
And
supposed to
you
know?
know,
You know, I think God shows us, right?
yeah, exactly. Unless God, right, God has to show us. So praise God. He did. Oh my goodness. I've been praising God for my salvation. Just uh it's such a it is a precious gift. It's a precious gift. So praise God. He's coming soon. And we don't have
Yep.
yeah, we don't have to deal with this anymore.
I know it. I know it.
We
One
can
day
be with
closer,
him.
brothers and sisters.
That's
The
right. One day closer.
hope and peace and joy. We can just enjoy, you know, at least one more day on earth here, and then we'll figure it out, right?
Mhm.
So praise Jesus. Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for going a little bit long,
Thanks
and
again.
praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace, and all glory to God because he deserves it. Please pray for the children. Pray for anyone being victimized. Pray for each other. It's important. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 6 a.m.